Welcome back to the Iowa State Daily Dish podcast. Like always, I'm your host, sports editor Brett Twellmeyer, joined by my co-host,
Pavel Markovic.
So we just got done with Iowa State's 96-92 loss to BYU in the quarterfinals. It was a really fun, exciting game. A lot of high-level basketball in this one. Felt like this could have been like a semifinal, possibly championship-level game right here. This is what I'm expecting to see out of both of these teams, the NCAA tournament. Just a huge amount of three-pointers, and I think that was kind of the main takeaway of this game.
I kind of wish that we did play at BYU just to get a little bit more of this matchup, honestly, because this is so much fun to watch, just like the one in Ames. I know both of them didn't turn out the Cyclones' way, but, they kept it competitive, very high scoring, and, yeah, like you said, the three-pointers were just insane. I mean, it was a combined 66 attempts, which is just, abnormal to hear. And I think Iowa State did set a new season-high record with 13 threes, which mainly by Curtis Jones, which we'll kind of get into in a little bit. But, just good to see that the perimeter game was very strong today.
Yeah, I mean, Curtis Jones, we'll get into him right now. Just what a game from him. 31 points, shot 50% from the field, 7 for 15 from three. I think in the first half he was 6 for 8. Just unreal shooting from him. He set the Iowa State all-time record for a single Big 12 game for three-pointers made. So that was really impressive. He was really the one in the first half when Iowa State was down by 10, kind of pulled them up. Really just kind of took over in that first half.
Absolutely. There's no other person that would surprise me that would set that kind of record than Curtis Jones. I mean, I think in the first half he had a stretch of making Iowa State's 8 of their last 10 and then had 5 in a row to end it. I mean, he just looked like he had his confidence there. He was shooting it well, and, BYU didn't want to guard him, so he just let him have it. So, but yeah, no better person in this moment to do it, especially with the injuries that came in today. Kesohn and Tamin did not play today because of the similar groin injuries they sustained. So that kind of hurt, just knowing that TJ had to kind of rotate other guys in. But they did step up, like Cade Kelderman.
Yep, yeah. I mean, we expected probably that Kesohn wasn't going to play.
Right.
Tamin, I was a little surprised at. Yesterday, he seemed pretty optimistic. So did Otzelberger about probably playing. But after the game, Otzelberger just kind of was like, he seemed hesitant, which isn't typically what we see out of Tamin, so this might be more serious than we think. Honestly, it might be a good thing that Iowa State lost this game just so they can have even that one extra day of just getting rest, getting preparation for the NCAA tournament. But, I mean, yeah, again, Cade Kelderman really stepped up. He came into the game pretty early, and that I think was kind of a telling sign of Tamin's probably not going to play today. He did pretty well, I thought, for the most part. We also saw Demarion Watson get some minutes in there. He had a huge block to end the first half. So, once again, he's stepping up when he needs to, when his team calls his number.
Absolutely. And you even saw when, Nate Heisey unfortunately fouled out. Iowa State in general kind of struggled with keeping off the foul boards. They had 22 in total, so, don't like to see that generally. But, yeah, like you said, seeing a guy like Cade especially, he actually got to make a shot too. His other games, he's always looking to pass first, just play good defense and never try and shoot the ball. But this game, he got some good opportunities to shoot, and although he only made one, he still made that one count.
Yeah, it really helped out Iowa State when they needed it. It counted towards that three-point total that they hit that season high for today. But yeah, with the fouls, it really just kind of they came on in the second half. Really, when Iowa State needed to foul. They needed points. They needed to stop the clock. Just anything that they could do to try and claw their way back into it. But ultimately just didn't pan out. You look at the free throw margin. BYU shoots 14 more free throws. Again, that's late when BYU's in the double bonus and everything, and just the game is probably out of reach at that point. I was a little nervous, though, heading into halftime when Jefferson and Jones each had 2 fouls. A little nervous there, but I thought they managed it fairly well throughout the rest of the game.
Right.
Jefferson ended with 3, Jones with 4, but again, they just needed that little extra bit somewhere in this game.
Right, yeah, I agree. And I know some of those fouls at the end of the first half kind of were maybe toss-ups you didn't want to see, 2 was nice to see. It could have been worse, 3 or more, but still, could have needed that little bit of boost. But, I feel like in general, Iowa State did shoot pretty well. They shot 56% for the game, 43% from 3, and, free throws, they only attempted 7, only made 5. So, they didn't really try and push and try and get fouls from BYU, but still, I feel like they still played an overall solid offensive game, even though BYU was just overall better.
And even with the production that each team had on offense, it was a clean game too. Not a whole lot of turnovers in this one. when they faced the first time, Iowa State turned BYU over 29 times. Today there was only 10 BYU turnovers. Iowa State had 9 itself. And when each team was shooting over 50% from the floor, both teams were shooting over 50% from 3 for a good majority of the game up until the end, when Iowa State just kind of had to put up shots and just hoped that any of them kind of fell. But I mean, this was just a high level basketball game.
Absolutely, yeah. I love the feels from it. Like you said, it's kind of feeling like March Madness already. I mean, I doubt these two teams face each other again in the tournament, but you never know. I mean, with seeding and everything, I expect Iowa State to still probably be around that 3 or 4, maybe probably more 3. And then obviously BYU, depending on what they do for us this tournament, they still got to play either Colorado or Houston tomorrow, presumably Houston, but you never know with the Buffaloes. But yeah, I mean, if they go on, I think I've got high hopes for them to kind of go all the way in this tournament. I mean, they looked really good. So, but yeah, props to BYU for what they did. But then again, for Iowa State, I mean, just couldn't get it done. I know they were missing Kesohn and Tamin still, but I mean, I think they tried to have that one back, but just couldn't get it done.
Yeah, I asked Milan post-game. He said there was probably some extra motivation heading into this one, knowing that BYU won on senior night. Right. So they wanted to get back at him, just ultimately didn't pan out. And it's just because BYU is such a good team.
Right.
Like heading into this one, we knew that it was going to be tough. They already beat Iowa State in Hilton. They were riding an 8-game winning streak, which is now 9. They're probably going to be taking on the top team in the Big 12 in Houston, like you were saying. So it was just a really tough draw. We knew that these 4 or 5 matchups in all these conference tournaments are always super competitive, and for good reason. I mean, Iowa State was right there to get that double bye. BYU kind of comes in, has this huge run to end the season, and takes it, and they just ran with it today. Yeah. So I guess that'll do it from us today. We will look ahead to the NCAA tournament. Iowa State's Big 12 tournament ends earlier than it did last year. Champions last year, but can't win them all. Losing to BYU today, 96-92. Thanks for watching, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, everything like that. And we'll see you probably at the NCAA tournaments.